es um Fleisch von höchster Qualität geht, gibt es kaum zwei Namen, die so viel Gewicht haben, wie die beiden Speaker, die wir gleich begrüßen dürfen. Der eine ist einer der besten Metzger der Welt. Der andere ist sein Küchenchef, der zuvor bei Rolling Pin in Monaco für Furore sorgte. Gemeinsam haben sie die Kunst des Fleisches auf ein neues Niveau gehoben. Ihr Restaurant Carcasse wurde mit einem Michelin-Stern ausgezeichnet und zählt aktuell zu den 5 besten Steak-Restaurants der Welt. Aber ihre Philosophie geht noch tiefer. Mit ihrer kompromisslosen Nose-to-Tail-Herangehensweise verwenden sie jedes Teil des Tieres, um sicherzustellen, dass nichts verschwendet wird. Heute werden sie uns zeigen, was mit hochwertigem Fleisch alles möglich ist. Es ist uns eine große Ehre, Sie heute hier bei uns begrüßen zu dürfen. Ladies and gentlemen, please give an amazing applause from Flanders, the masters of meat, Hendrik, Dierendonck and Timon, Michiels.
Father's footsteps. Follow his philosophy. Respect the animal and let nothing go to waste. This is what I was born to do. People would ask if I was ever going to open a restaurant. I chose not to run a restaurant. I chose to create a showcase. Transparent, natural, real. An extension of my butcher shop. No special sauce, no famous French fries, no nonsense, no frills, no bullshit. Okay, scratch that. La carcasse entière. From nose to tail, from field to fork. Well bred, properly fed. Nothing, absolutely nothing goes to waste. Simple, elegant, pure. Because great meat can never be taken for granted. I want to bring people closer to the terroir. Closer to the passion, closer to the meat. That's why this is the restaurant. This is Carcasse.
Right.
Rock and roll.
And yes, no for the bottom.
Hendrik, you want to invite some people there, didn't you?
Yes, we would like to invite 4 people that like meat, of course, and was a little taste of Carcasse. So, yes, sir, please come in front. Please, go ahead. Still one victim here in the front. Yes, please, come over. So, I hope you enjoy, and let's have some fun. Welcome to Carcasse with Timon, my chef, and Hendrik. So now you see why I don't need bodybuilding anymore. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my story, about what we do. We're gonna talk about 4 things. We're gonna talk about Dierendonck as a butcher, no-hotel craftsmanship, terroir, passion, and craftsmanship. We're gonna talk about Carcasse with Timon, the other side, the other philosophy, the new philosophy of eating meat. And of course, we're always gonna talk about the passion for meat. So we're gonna start a little bit who we are. I hope my beamer works. Can you help me for the moment? Yeah. So, first I always say I was born in a butcher shop, and my parents, they had a very small butcher shop at the Belgian coast. And my father, he always went looking for the best product. And I have to say, I saw my parents working, searching for a product that's, nobody was going to eat meat anymore. So they said, we're gonna search for the best product there is, and we're gonna show it to the people and let them taste it. When I was 10 years old, my father, he talked about somebody drove 5 kilometers to his shop to eat meat. It was crazy, because who gonna drive 5 kilometers for buying meat? Because there were 6 butchers in the street. So he said, please search for the best product there is. And that's how I learned my craftsmanship from my parents. So in our butcher shops, we are with the whole team. We have our butcher shops, we have the restaurants, we have our production site, we have give workshops. For us, it's very important to bring people close to the meat. Why? It is not so evident anymore, because some time ago, I'll show you. I was putting myself in question because everybody is going vegan. I said, what I'm doing wrong? And we were searching we're thinking, who is our client of the future? Our client of the future, he eats less meat, he eats better meat. Our client of the future, he wants craftsmanship, terroir, and passion. And what is craftsmanship? This is what I do here. I try to use new techniques, but I keep honest to my craftsmanship, to my philosophy. I also use the best terroir. Where does my meat come from? When I eat an animal, for me, when I eat meat, it's like a wine. You have the animal, that's the grape. You have the terroir, that is where the winery is. What's what the animal eats. You have the climate, that is the sun for a wine. So if we're gonna compare everything with the same wine or a cheese, we're gonna approach meat totally differently. And that is for me important. Eat less meat, but eat better meat. Know where it comes from. And on the other side, of course, passion. Everything I do can be copied. I try to give the passion to my people, show them what we do and how we do it. But now I'm first of all gonna let Timon explain his first dish, because Timon is my head chef, a young chef. He used to come to my shop when he was a little boy. Then I think just like in Germany, we give him sausage, and it did well. So he's bigger than I am. So please.
Well, after a couple of years, not so many sausage anymore, but still working together. So at Carcasse, we really try to bring everything nose to tail, really respect the values of Hendrik, his father, of the family of Dierendonck, and bring that to the table. But we always say we're not a restaurant, we're Carcasse. It's about product, it's about innovation, and I think that's what makes the two of us a special concept. We bring classic dishes with a new style. So we start with our charcuterie on our shoulder. So we're not going to waste anything of the cow. We're going to use the shoulder of our own West Flanders red, Woodstock, it's aged for 12 weeks, and then we finish it with some subtle condiments, some smoked cream of smoked hay, some pickled carrots, and some thyme vinaigrette, just to have some contrast, and finish it with an old Belgian cheese. Well, you're the lucky ones, huh?
So what is important? We also always go searching for local meat. Of course, in a time that there is less and less space or less and less products, it's very important for us to find the right farmer that delivers us the right product. So we have 3 very important animals that we breed in Belgium. For me, it's the West Flemish red from my own farm. At a certain moment, there are only 300 anymore. Pure blood, but we invested again with the chefs and with the farmers in that product. It's a real Flanders product, real terroir for me, and that is so important. The same with the Michiels pork. Michiels pork lived in year 0. Together with the university, we try to make a revival, a sort of revival. It's not Jurassic Park, of course, but we have bred the same pig, the same nose, everything. And then we go in the Ardennes, where there's a lot of space, a lot of woods, and it's another terroir. And that is for me so important. So there is Flemish breed we have on our own farm with my father, we breed it. And it's very important because we have a farm next to the coast, 15 kilometers from us. In the polders, the taste is totally different. And on the other side then, I have here today, for me, a new way of meat is Utslag. And Utslag comes from, the time in the 70s, my father had a butcher shop, and he only slaughtered 1 animal a month. And now there is the hype of dry aging. But dry aging, it has always been there. He had a refrigerated cork, cement, wood, so he dehydrated automatically. The cows, they were used for milk and for meat. And an animal like this, a dairy cow, it gets lean. It gives a lot of milk, and then makes a lot of new fat. And I think that is very important that we upgrade. There was a time that dairy cows was not good. For me, a dairy cow is the wagyu for everybody. It's marvelous, it's fantastic taste. It's sometimes complex, but what is the problem with old animals? You have to age it. And you age it, why? Because it gets tender. That's the first philosophy why you can age meat. So we approached the Utslag like cheese and like wine. We age it in 3 different stadiums. And sometimes we go to 15 degrees, we go back down. It's not dry aging. And that is very important that the client, chefs, they said to me, Hendrik, your meat is different. I'm a butcher, I have my taste, and I think it's very important that everybody that is in the hospitality of doing restaurants search for his own taste and wants to explore that. I'll let Timon explain more because now he is doing the tartare of bavette of Flemish beef.
Yeah, so very classic dish in our restaurant. Only 4 ingredients, very pure. Underneath bone marrow, smoked bone marrow. We're gonna smoke it a little bit on hay. Then on top tartare, we keep the meat very pure. We just mix it with some olive oil, but you have the nice flavor of the meat. So smoked bone marrow, some creamy tartare on top, cream of onion, and some Belgian caviar. Just the caviar to finish off very nicely with the meat.
So when you age meat, it's very important that you have a nice taste. Sometimes they say you have to age it for months. For me personally, sometimes they say then it's like cheese. When I eat meat, I don't want to eat cheese. When do I eat cheese? I go to my friend from Maastricht and I buy cheese. I want good meat. That's why it's very important that we clean up the meat very precise. So we're gonna clean it totally up. So there's no moisture anymore. So we always put UV lamps in our refrigerators also. The UV lamps make that the aging room is very natural. And I want a natural taste. As I said, I'm a butcher. I was grown in a butcher shop. Every day we talked about meat. And every day we question ourselves. There's not a day that we don't question ourselves if the product or the meat that we serve or sell is good. Now the day passes by, and I think that is why now the success has been there, and also because how we started Carcasse. Because Carcasse, I was never going to start a restaurant, and yeah, even at home, my wife, she said, "You're crazy to start up a restaurant. What are you doing now?" But we wanted to create a place like eating in the butcher shop at the back. You're sitting behind the meat, between the meats, you're eating on the butcher's block, and that's so very important. What we also see now is with Timon that we create these days dishes. We have aged meat, but the dishes that we make are much more like sophisticated charcuterie. Sophisticated is a big word, but we want the future of charcuterie is changing. We see that in Belgium, I don't know how it's in Germany, but people eat less charcuterie for breakfast. So what we do, we try to cure out our products. Like here we have the boudin noir, the black pudding sausage. It's very pure, but we try to give it very elegantly in the restaurants. And that nose-to-tail philosophy is the second part of what we do. Nose-to-tail, when I grew up in the butcher shop from my parents, I had to debone every day because I had to learn to put on a knife. And at noon I had to stop, and yeah, I went skateboarding, and at night I came home, and my father, he threw up all the bones on the table. He said, "Now you're going to clean up all those bones." Yeah, of course, 15 years old, you're very angry. But what is most important, he said, you have to have respect for the farmer, because there's a farmer that worked on that to have a good product. You have to respect the animal, because every piece of the animal is important to serve. And you have to respect yourself. Why? Because you're a butcher. If you're proud of your profession, do it in a good way. Don't throw it away. So I'm gonna let Timon explain a little bit more about his dish on the black pudding sausage.
So I think it's one of the dishes we probably worked most on in the restaurant. You know, as a young chef, you want to create and try so much more stuff, but there was one day that Hendrik told me and the team, "Hey guys, just bake some good apples, some sugar, some calvados, keep it classic like you had with your grandmother." And still the dish is still today on the menu, as we serve it, as we get it from a grandmother at home. Some good cooked apples, some very crunchy blood sausage, and a good brioche feuilleté that we make. We also say in the restaurant, the best way to eat it, just dip in it. Just take some brioche and have fun.
Timon, you have the plans to cook these also?
Yeah.
So, what we see now is that the way when we have a new sort of meat that we serve in our shops, we see it as getting more and more complex for the client to prepare it. So we see it sort of changing from the shop to the restaurant. But on the other side, it's for us very important as a butcher to give a lot of explanation. Sometimes people, they say, "But your meat is totally different of taste." Of course it's different. For me, eating good meat is like eating good bread. You eat one slice of it, and you're satisfied. When you eat good meat, you less of it. So our native work, you'll see it. It was a project that we did with the University of Ghent, and it has been a challenge. Why it has been a challenge? Because in Belgium it was difficult to have the slaughterhouse slaughtering an animal that lived outside. I think it is crazy now, but it was an investment for the future. And we see that our young customer, before I had a lot of customers, let's say the age of my parents, they come to the shop and they say we want filet. And if you don't have filet, they go to another shop. Now there's a lot of respect again from young people for the craftsmanship. And I think that is very important, that young people, they come back to the shop and they ask to me, butcher, what do I have to eat today? And the Sunday roasts are not with the family anymore. The Sunday roasts, there are now with a lot of friends. They come for a whole piece of beef or a whole piece of pork and they cook together. And I think on that mentality also for us, people eat totally different now together at home or in a restaurant. It's a lot about sharing and a lot about pleasing. Here it's such a simple dish. It's very old school, black pudding sausage with apple. The idea is that you eat it at the table like a cream. You get it on toast, it's almost like a dessert, you could say, but of course it is not. And that's how we see that the old charcuterie is coming back in a higher level. So the first dishes are there, and I hope our guests are liking it. We have been investing in the futures, and as I said, it's very important: terroir, craftsmanship, and passion. Terroir, what is that for me? Terroir, that means that we have a charter we sell, we have a charter who we sell, and a charter to who we buy. I must know where the farmer, how he raises his animals, and he raises on a good way. We can see in our refrigerators when the meat comes in that the animal had stress. In 5 minutes, an animal that had stress changes the total quality of the product. Because you see that the moisture, you see that the moisture, it gets wet. An animal that is stressed, it is like, let's say, it is like, if you run a marathon, your muscles are all going to be crystallized, and an animal that had stress is the same. So for us, it's very important to, if you want to make good charcuterie without additives, you have to have an animal that had no stress and that was well fed. And I think that's a contradiction also. A lot of people say now, meat is not good for health. I have to say I don't think so, because the product, the process that went before on it is so important for us as a butcher that we invest in it on a good way. And we see it costs a lot of money, but we also see a lot of our clients, they want to taste it. Now we're gonna cook some steaks. Timon is gonna talk a little explanation. Normally our steaks, we always prepare them first in the oven on 50 degrees. There's a lot of people putting the steak only in the oven after they have cooked it or grilled it a little bit. We put it first in the oven for 50 degrees for 1 hour. So it's already bleu chaud, as rare. And then we're gonna make it very crusty in the oven, in the pan or on the grill. Of course here it was difficult, but the flavor, the fattiness will melt already and it will prepare a lot of flavor.
What we do differently, if you cook steak in butter or olive oil, everything burns very quickly. So we're gonna start with the beef fat from our own cows. Again, no waste, and then it gives so much more flavor to the steak. Give that nice crunchy flavor, and then you can just serve it everywhere. So what we do is we make sure we have a nice crust, let it rest for 30-35 minutes, then finish a little bit, just like with a paintbrush or a brasa or a charcoal oven. Just give a little bit of heat and finish again with some good butter.
Carcasse is also a place where you come and you can taste different kinds of meat, like a wine. I talked to you before, meat is like eating, meat is like drinking wine. So in Carcasse also, most of the clients that come to our restaurants, they taste 5 different breeds, which is explaining where the meat comes from, and it's like a degustation for meat. And for us, it's very important that you see that the customer, he thinks about where the meat comes from. You're gonna eat on a totally different way, the flavor, and you're gonna experience it totally differently. I see that an animal, a very intramuscular fat, needs herbs that give a lot of taste to the fat. An animal that has a lot of meat but less fat needs a diet that has much more taste to the meat. So only by thinking about it and talking about it, we see that the mindset of people is totally different of eating meat. And for me as a butcher, yeah, I love what I do, I love my craftsmanship, and I only want is to preserve it from, let's say, not becoming a folklore, or I don't know how you call it, but we need young people that really want to share a passion, but also want to go back. Sometimes I have to go back and see the traditions, how we make charcuterie, where the animals come from, and that's for me the most important thing. When I see now the passion that is with the people around me, and they are becoming ambassadors of what we do, that is, I think, the most satisfying thing I have in my profession.
So, in Carcasse, well, we're still in Belgium, but we always said we're not going to do any sauce or no fries. So again, no fries in Carcasse. We bring local side dishes, we work together with local farmers, we're very seasonal. It's more interesting for our guests, it's more interesting for my team, just to have every season new dishes, and of course to respect the meat. The meat is a star in the restaurant, and the side dishes just have to uplift a little bit of that flavor.
I cut up a pork here now. You know, a pork, it has 6 different pieces of fat. Every piece of fat gives another temperature to melt, and it has another texture. So, with one pork, we can give for about 300 people food. Nothing goes to waste, and every piece of the meat is used from nose to tail. And these are all old school, textures are old school ways of working. That's, you see the people, young people don't learn it anymore at school, because there are no butcher schools than before. So that's why it's very important for us to see how the client and the young people react to that. So this is the start of our restaurant, the Uslach. It is a beef that has a very creamy taste. It is a nutty flavor, but it's, of course, as I said, it's only a dairy cow. A dairy cow that we preserve the balance, the fattiness, we give it with a lot of pickled products. We make always the balance in the restaurants the most important thing, and probably for me, meat is an everyday product. It is not for everybody or everyday products, and we are only trying to be an ambassador for good meat. And Timon, he made also our Michelin star in the restaurant, and I think for a young chef, it's fantastic to see how we have a young team working on that. So thank you for that, Timon. So nose to tail, on another way, passion, feeling what you do. I think hospitality, I was born in a butcher shop, and hospitality is key in what we do. And it's not only about giving our this, but a lot of sharing our passion and trying to explain the client what the product is. I see it needs a lot of explanation to the client about what we are doing. I think we are educating our client of the future, and probably that's what I want to do. I want to educate the client and follow my passion. So, thank you. En we stil. We kan stay.
Ja,
I think we don't have enough pieces for the whole.
Just one question. What's the biggest mistake you can do by preparing a steak?
Yeah, this is let's say always the resistance. We make it very pure, just a bit with the Flemish pickles, very old school, and the side dishes. We work with local farmers for our vegetables also, biological farmers. I'll get this away up. So, please. I hope you enjoy it. Hola. You see, I'm better in cutting meat than serving. Yeah, but bon appetit. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for sharing our passion. Thank you.
Applaus für diesen inspirierenden Auftritt.
I get hungry too,
Unser nächstes Highlight startet in Kürze.